In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this French cleat wall mount system for a mini PC and monitor for the shop. Basically, that mount that holds these can be moved anywhere in the shop or over into the gym. This is what I purchased to mount the monitor. It's a Bondtech dual monitor wall mount, model GWM02, which I think will hold up to a 32-inch monitor, but I'll put the specs on the screen. Video might be a little bit long, but I kind of wanted to show everything I did along the way. So hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we have a new shop project. We're going to set up a PC out here. Have my wife's old monitor. I think it's a 23-inch. It's a gaming monitor, 1 millisecond. I'll put all the specs for everything up on the screen if it's not self-explanatory. So using a really old US gaming keyboard made in China. Dell mouse. Now I'll be building something for a French cleat hang-up utilizing this. Monitor will hang on this here and the PC will mount to that. For the PC, that's right, it's in this little box here. It's a mini PC, an SCR Pro 6. And once I get to setting it up, I'll show the specs. Got an additional SATA drive that's going to go in here for 2 terabytes of extra storage. Got a USB switcher that'll mount to the wall frame and a nice little surge protector charger there. So that's a rundown of the equipment. Mock-up number 1, kind of a rectangle, 40 by 30 centimeters. The thinking is to have 2 French cleats, one low, one high. Position this arm far over to the right and low to kind of counterbalance the one monitor that's going to be on this side. So hopefully those two will kind of balance the weight and keep it from wanting to twist when it's hanging on the shelf, and hopefully the 2 cleats accomplish that. Then for these, to use the bolts, I had to add this extra square piece, as I don't want to skimp on a good solid adequate connector there. So I'm going to double this up, this square piece here, and with the thickness of that plus these two, there should be no push through in theory, because I can't really get one this solid much shorter. All right, to attach this in the final product, I will glue it, but for now I'm just going to pin nail it a little bit, put some screws in from the back side, and then test it first, make sure that it's going to hold everything before then I'll pry this off and put glue down for the final product. But temporarily I want to make sure that this solution is going to work, and this is going to be a balanced hang. So pin nail, screw from the back side, and then put the mount on and test it on the wall. Okay, this is the back side where the box is. Just come in with 5 screws. I reversed the template to make sure that none of the screws are going to be placed where the major bracket bolts go into. So hopefully that'll That'll hold it. All right, now it's time to mount the 2 French cleats. It's going to be one across the very top and then one almost right here at the bottom. And what I might have to do, because of the thickness of this, is for the top one, maybe strip it down to make it, you know, so the whole panel sits a little bit higher. Because the way it is now, it kind of runs close between, because it sits up higher here, that brings this up. So the base is right there, which is okay, but by shortening that top one, it will drop the whole piece down, and then we'll have backing on 3-point. Okay, I did end up making this shorter. As you can see, this one is longer. So I took about that much off just to make the whole thing sit a little bit lower. And the way I got the spacing on this was, once this was attached, I hung it up, set the other piece on here right behind it, and then I just put 2 little pin nails in. That way, when I lifted it off, I could bring it around and actually put screws in it. Which is where I'm at now, getting ready to, I did the pre-drills and then I will put the screws in. And that should hold it. Okay, so that's it up on the wall now. It's pretty sturdy, and even when I pull on this side, or if I pull down on this side, with both of these rails in place, I think no matter where the weight is distributed, should hold solid. But we're going to find out, to the point now where I'm actually going to mount the swing arms on here. All right, I used the template to find the exact placement of the holes to pre-drill, and then went ahead and mounted up the arms. Now with the right offset, the 27-inch monitor is going to go on this side out here, and then the PC itself, the mini PC, will then mount to this bracket. And I'm not sure if it's going to be perhaps sitting behind it. I've got options and I haven't figured that point out, but concept of this is solid. No matter where I pull on it, the board itself doesn't teeter. So with the majority of the weight of the arm here, that should balance out pretty equally the weight of the monitor on the left. That way when I pick it up to carry it and mount it in the gym for that purpose, it should be pretty stable when I'm moving it around. All right, now I got to get the monitor and the PC mounts in place. Now, always make sure you got your board flipped the right way before you pre-drill. I started mounting the plate to the front, so wood filler to the rescue later. All right, get the monitor up on the bracket and the PC. I'm probably going to have to change my original plan. I did an offset on the actual mount because I thought the monitor would be over here, but that didn't work out. Let me rearrange it and show you. All right, that's the other configuration, but the problem with this setup is the mount is way over here and the monitor is way over here, so the actual footprint is way wider than it is over there. Now, granted, this will allow me to see what's behind there with the USB hub and everything, but I just think it takes up too much space width-wise, whereas I could have more of a compact setup by bringing the monitor there and then just having the PC off to the side. So with this configuration, the footprint is much smaller, and I think I can even improve it. Like I said, if I move this so this is in the center, since now the weight of the monitor and most of the weight of the mount is all in line. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move that over, unmount everything, move that over, and then remount everything. Okay, so we've got this bracket mount moved over. Did leave some holes from how this thing is secured, because these are the bolt holes from the ones that actually hold the mount to the piece, and the smaller ones what holds that piece of wood to the front. So nothing that a little wood filler can't fix. And I'm thinking I'm going to paint this black anyway. So yeah. But when you're testing theories, sometimes you know, you end up with stuff like this. Okay, I had some exterior grade black paint, so I went ahead and just painted it black. I figure it'll hide the blemishes, and it'll kind of match the color of the monitor, so if you see it from the side, it won't stick out as much. So first coat, I'll go over a second time and smooth it out. Paint's kind of old, but hey, it's for the shop. This is the solution that I came up with for the 2 power bricks. This one's for the PC, and this one is for the monitor. Kind of put these little L brackets on. That keeps it from sliding side to side. And to hold it in, I've used just some Velcro straps. That I just secured down with this little screw. That holds it in. Now what I have left to do still is this USB port. I've got some double-sided tape, or some double-sided, I've got some Velcro with tape on it. So my thought is to just put it somewhere there. The power cords, they'll just hang down, and I'm going to build a different board, and I'm getting a mountable surge protector that can also hang on the wall, but that'll be a separate piece. So when I move it, I will have to unplug the plugs from that, and then move this piece, and then move the power piece. But I haven't built the other one yet because I don't have the power strip or the double-sided tape yet. We are almost done. Showed those two the mounting systems for the power bricks for the monitor and the PC. This is the USB 3.0 hub that I've just done a Velcro adhesive to there. And it's not going to have a lot of things being plugged in and unplugged all the time, so that should be more than adequate. I'm going to put the wireless keyboard and mouse into one of them, and of course have expansions. The 4-port was the smallest I could get in a 3.0. I have all the cables that are going to be coming to the PC up here. We've got the HDMI for the monitor, of course the power, and then the USB hub. That way it'll minimize the number of things actually plugged in. It goes through this nice underarm cable piece here that just slides up, comes out. Now for the power cords, to keep the pressure in toward the power brick, I've created this little loop and just used a little hook there. And then to keep the cables attached to the hook, you probably can't see it, but it's the bread tie type thing that comes on your cables when you get them brand new from the factory. I just, to hold it to that, and that creates that tension. And then another one here secured to keep the power cords coming out of the bottom. Now this is the surge protector that's going to mount on a separate piece. And I came up with the idea of having a U configuration. So it'll hook here on each side, and then it'll just sit right underneath this piece and still be mounting to the same cleat at the bottom. That's the theory. Okay, the undermount piece is completed with the surge protector installed. Basically, it's just a U that will French cleat and go right up underneath the main piece. And of course, they got these two little supports at the bottom. So when it sits on the wall, it stays secure, it doesn't shake. But the only thing is this piece has to go on first before the other piece sits in because of the height here to get everything to line up. So because I made it almost seamless, this piece has to go in and then the main has to drop down on top. And I'll show that here in a sec. So as you can see, just fits in there nicely underneath. The plugs will have a very short throw, and it will be barely visible underneath the monitor, I think. You might see it, but it's actually probably going to sit lower on most walls where I have it mounted. So that will be underneath the desktop. Yeah, but the only thing left is to put the monitor on and plug all the cables in. Okay, she's mounted, up and running. I am going to get a wireless keyboard and mouse, which will make moving this from here to the gym wall much easier. I'm pretty happy with it. The only thing I need to do to move it is to unplug those two, move the main monitor and PC mount off of there. Then I have to take that, put that on the wall over there first, and then put this back. Now I can film either here or in the gym. And it sits up high enough so if I'm working on stuff on the workbench, pretty decent rise there. And I just got to keep a dust cover on it. All right, that completes the project. Let me show you behind. That's the USB hub there, USB 3 hub. And everything's all tucked up nice and neat. So it needs a little bit of cable management on that one, but I'm going to call this a check mark. Thanks for watching.